I'd like to call this meeting of the Common Council to order. Could you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation.
Roll call, please.
Bruce Lechner is absent. Tim Schirota.
Here.
Gary Payson Jr. is absent. Ron Dunwoody.
Here.
Scott McClory.
Here.
Ken Meinel.
Here.
Carol Young. Here.
Public comment tonight. Is there anyone here for public comment?
Public comment I guess I'd like to bring up is that is the only residential street through a sub. And it's a pretty heavily used street, and people are flying on there all the time. If you go 30, you've got someone tailgating. You go 35, you got someone tailgating. Yeah, and there's a lot of kids. You got the park right there. I guess I'm just asking for someone to look at. It's continually, especially after events or after school, or especially morning time too. There are a lot of younger drivers that come tearing through the subdivision to get to.
Thank you for your comments. We're not really supposed to discuss those comments, but we will consider what you've said, and it'll possibly be placed on a future agenda.
Thank you.
You bet. Thank you. Consent agenda. We'll get to the scouts in just a few minutes here, all right? And consent agenda, council meeting minutes for November 9th, 22. Is there any discussion on those, or I'd entertain a motion to approve them?
So move. I'll second.
We've got a motion and a second. Any corrections or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you. Bills payable. Again, any discussion or questions on the bills payable?
Are they? Like, what's our total that we're agreeing to? Because normally we pass that around.
Does somebody have the total there?
Right. That's what I'm asking for. I don't think we can approve without the total in the motion. Can we?
Yep.
Can we, Ward?
If they're in the materials and you guys are aware of them, you can.
Lost our computer, Matt. Oh, okay. Did you get a total?
Total is $4,288,331.33.
I'll make a motion to approve that amount.
That amount.
That amount.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
There it is, right there. Any further discussion, questions? Roll call, please.
Tim Schirota.
Yes.
Ron Dunwoody.
Yes.
Scott McClory.
Yes.
Ken Meinel.
Yes.
Carol Young. Yes.
Got the mayor's report. We have in attendance here tonight some scouts from Troop 243. Was one of you young men going to get up and tell us what you're doing? You can come up to the mic. Yeah, microphone right there would be great.
Leadership in the Community Merit Badge. And we issue that affects us. One for me is currently in Elkhorn we have 6 parks. I do enjoy them, except we have 6 parks that we cannot go to since we go outside of the age limit that is on for the parks. And apparently you guys are making a 7th and expanding the Market Street Park. So and there's no place for teens to go. So I was suggesting an idea where there could be a place that teens could go in town, since we can go into Friends on the Square, except you're really not supposed to stay very long for that. It's just my suggestion. My name's Parker James.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
And they're just an FYI, the scouts are, I believe, going to tour the DPW building after this meeting. So we're glad to have you here. Thank you. And then we have a citizen recognition certificate for Sandy Ginner, and I believe Matt had some pictures for us of the beautiful Christmas decorations that she has helped make, and you can see some of her work over there in the corner.
Been working with Sandra for a couple of years now. I think since at least 2018 or 2019. She started with a group with her and a couple of friends, and they put together a couple different displays that that are already incorporated into our displays down in Veterans Park. So I took some pictures of some of those last week. So this is one that was done in 2019. Typically, is what we would do is Sandy would contact us, and we would buy the plywood, and sometimes we would paint it white, but then she takes it from there. And I believe her son-in-law helps cut the pieces, and Carl, and her daughter Donna also helps with some of the painting too. But they're really nice displays, and here's a set of gingerbread men and also the house that are downtown. So out of the 7 or 8 that we have, a lot of them are ones that Sandra's done. So here's a set of penguins that she's put together. And then also Santa with the reindeer. So I just thought it'd be, I brought it to the attention of the administrator and also the mayor that thought it'd be nice to recognize Sandra. And this is her latest edition that we just received it last week. And we're going to be putting it out hopefully starting tomorrow. So hopefully by Thanksgiving it'll be out in the park.
Okay, thank you, Matt. I'd like to read the certificate before presenting it. It says, this certificate is to recognize the wonderful work of Sandra Ginner on creation of multiple holiday displays, which she has orchestrated and painted over the past few years with help from her daughter, Donna Ginner Felland, and her son-in-law, Carl Felland. These displays amplify the cheerfulness of the season in our Christmas card town. On behalf of the city of Elkhorn, I thank you for your creativity, generosity, and volunteering of your time and energy for the good of the community. Your work now and in the future will bring joy to generations to come. With best wishes, Bruce Lechner, Mayor of the City of Elkhorn. city administrator report.
Again, it's always tough to follow the more exciting and entertaining things, so I'll be brief as usual. But one, I just wanted to mention again, the well number 7 rehab project has been delayed due to some challenges with the contractor. There's some damage to the well when they were trying to pull out the casings, and the pump is still not been returned, and so there's a meeting tomorrow with the contractor to really find a solution, because right now it's just been dragging on. It's delaying our ability to move forward with the HMO pilot study and the Lakeland upgrades, which are important. So just wanted to remind the council that next council meeting, there'll be two planning commission items. One for the Creekside development by Teronomy. Their comp plan amendment and rezoning request will be on the agenda, as well as we have an annexation petition by Special Teams LLC and a rezoning request as well. So should have been tonight, but we wanted to delay that because, one, to give more time for gathering information on the traffic impact study for the Teronomy project, but also to make sure that the full council had an opportunity to talk about it, since we're missing a few members tonight. And also just wanted to mention that, and hopefully is Carl here tonight? I don't see Carl. So just we are running a fundraiser as part of the 12 Days of Thanksmas in conjunction with the Chamber. Some of you may have seen the advertisements for the Pet Mayor competition. So basically for $10, you can enter your pet, and hopefully the city staff will vote on which pet is the pet mayor for the year. And very distinguished, honorable title. And like I said, all proceeds are going to go to benefit the Elkhorn Food Pantry, as well as the Lakeland Animal Shelter. So kudos to the rec department for putting that together. And then lastly, I just want to mention that the Christmas parade is December 3rd. So I know some of the council members are planning on participating this year. So we'll be giving you more information on that as well. And then one last thing, Matt, for the stormwater improvement project that wrapped up, we got our last invoice on that, last payment app. And it is under budget, so that's at least that's good news. So that's kind of where we're at.
You. We have liaison committee meetings, fire advisory. Is there anything on that?
Yeah, we met the 27th of October, and they approved the amendment to the contract, so that's completed. And they also approved the budget. And the next meeting will be January.
Library. Chad?
Good evening. In addition to the director's report, the library board met last week, and two of the highlights are on the holiday parade on December 3rd, they have authorized us to stay open an hour later so that people can watch the parade from indoors if the weather's bad. And the Friends are going to provide some refreshments, some hot chocolate and cookies. So I think we finally found our niche for the holiday parade. Related to the Friends have just made a large donation for us to replace the flooring in our storybook room with a laminate, which is going to be a lot more hygienic and easier to clean. So we're very grateful to them. Thank you.
Chad, the Recreation Advisory Committee.
I did get a comment from Carl that the Park and Rec Advisory Board meeting will be on January 11th of 2023, the next one.
Chamber of Commerce. No report. Moving on to new business. Discussion of possible decision regarding change order number 4 for installation of new water lateral as part of the Babeman Park Shelter construction project at a cost of $10,078.
This is probably going to be the Matt Lindstrom show tonight, so.
Thanks, Adam.
Yeah.
Is it okay if I cover both of these with regards to Babeman Park, both of the items?
Sure.
Okay. So to start with, proposed change order number 4, this work is complete. There really wasn't a lot of options. The plans show the water main alignments on the south side of the road. It ended up being on the north side. And in order to avoid ripping up the roadway, we looked at an alternate alignment. The alternate alignment included relocating a fire hydrant, but allowed us to use the fire hydrant lead as a service, since the service was going to be 6 inches. So it increased the length by 45 feet, and also, again, it relocated a hydrant and another valve. Proctor was just resurfaced like 5 years ago. So in order to avoid that and the additional cost, it would actually be more than the cost of $10,078. So that's kind of the short end of change order number 4. Is there specific questions around that one, or? Change order number 5, this work has not been done. So there is an opportunity to either move forward with the proposed change order or not. The existing project incorporates a new 4-inch lateral that would tie into the existing 4-inch lateral that served the old facility. My concerns with doing that are kind of listed here. We found, in looking at the existing 4-inch lateral that we would be tying into, the condition of it was not in good repair. The other thing with increasing to 6-inch would allow us to get more, it'd be easier for maintenance and also accessibility. We're able to flush that line out a lot easier. But obviously it comes with a price tag of $26,504. So again, this work has not been done, but I'm real hesitant about tying a brand new building into an old 4-inch lateral that's roughly 600 feet long. Does anybody have any questions regarding that change order? Okay. So as you all are aware, it was about a year ago, actually, we sat down at a council meeting and we discussed this project because when it was set to bid, or when we opened bids, there was 5 bids and they were all pretty close together, but it was double what the engineer's estimate was, or the architect's estimate. We first bid the job in May of '21. There was no bidders no contractors that even bid on the project. So it's always kind of been a struggle with this project since kind of day one. So unfortunately, we have 2 change orders before you, and also a little bit of a deficit of $9,000 that's currently not covered with the budget. So I sat down with Corey and with Adam to think of possible ways that we could fund this project. One of them would be to use park fund reserves in the manner of around $50,000. Just so everybody recalls, $50,000 were already pulled from the park funds for this project back, Jim had mentioned, like 3-4 years ago. So there is money there in the amount of $139,000, but I just wanted to make the council aware that money had already been taken from that project, from those funds for this project. The other option would be to use the 2020A general obligation note. So this is kind of a balance of funds that were not used for what was borrowed in 2020. So there was $50,000 that was kind of set aside temporarily, that in case a situation were to arise like this. The downside about using that is if something else came up in the future, that money wouldn't be available, obviously. So it could be a combination of either one of those choices that would still be, where we still would have those funds. So does anybody have any questions or more discussion?
When you say that that money wouldn't be available for another problem, like say we had a street problem, something, we have flexibility with that 50,000 from the 2020 bonding.
Yes.
So if a different problem came up, I'm trying to imagine what it would be. It'd be hard for us, say, a year from now to go back to take 50,000 out of the rec fund for a different problem.
That's exactly right.
So we would lose our flexibility.
Correct, that's exactly right.
Okay.
One thing I did want to mention, I didn't state it earlier, but our contractor, Shear, that's been involved in the project, they've been, in my opinion, really good to work with. Other than these couple of change orders here, there has been some other changes that they've done. They put vinyl ceiling panels in that are better for winter weather conditions, and they didn't charge the city any money for that. I just wanted to mention that. And both of these change orders, this work was performed by subcontractors, and they've waived their contract allowed 10% overhead. So, or that they're allowed to mark up, not overhead, but they're allowed by contract to mark up change orders by 10% if it's done by a subcontractor. They've waived that for both of these items. I just wanted to mention that.
recommend that we use the funds in the GEO or in the park fund? Or does Corey have an opinion?
Have anything else coming forward that we think, I mean, like you said, if we don't use it out of the park fund now, if we're going to need money for streets later on, you can't really take it out of the park fund.
We did talk to Carl about this too. Obviously, we wouldn't want to propose the park funds without talking to the rec director. And he mentioned that as of right now, to date, he doesn't have any direct plans for that money. So I think it's nice to have the flexibility for if something were to come up. Right now, you've got two options. If there were, another situation where if you use the 2020 bond funds now, you may not have a option that would be incorporated into the budget.
Clearly, you're recommending option one.
If I'm making a recommendation, I guess I am.
And that sounds like a Corey's recommending as well.
I'm kind of on the fence, I guess. I mean, Matt and I have been going through some of the other projects, street projects lately, just kind of trying to reconcile where we're at with it. And we think we're kind of coming under budget on some of the other items as well. So it's not like this is the only money we have available. I think there's going to be, if you agreed, Matt, that there was some other projects coming up that are a little bit less, so we might have some other opportunities of having some extra funds there as well.
But if we fall short on okay, if we take the money from option one and something else happens out at the park, can we still take from the option two or no?
Those 2020 bonds are kind of flexible per se.
Yeah, you'd only want to use the park funds for park, for something park related, obviously. So the 2020 general obligation note there's no specific requirements for that to where you could use it for a street project. You could use it for a building project, as long as it's not utility related. I guess one other thing you could do is use the park fund, and if that 50,000 is not used, could you reimburse the park fund?
Taking bond money and just putting it into a fund, I don't know, but if you're using it for a project.
I mean, our intent was to use we anticipated that this might be an issue when we were looking at this a couple weeks ago, which is part of the reason why we reserved this 50,000. When we were setting the levy and we were using some of the excess bond money to pay down the debt service for next year, we intentionally kept this 50,000 because we thought this might be a problem. So it'll be used one way or the other next year in 23 with all the projects we have planned. So whether you want to use the 50,000 towards the parks, or you want to use it towards a street project in 23, either way it'll be used. But to your point, if you use the park reserve money, then you're reserving some flexibility as to how you use that general obligation note. So.
All right, I will make, can I do a dual motion or get them separately? That's what I thought. I'll make a motion to use the park funds account to approve change order number 4 in the amount of $10,078.
I second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Scott McClory,
Yes.
Carol Young,
Yes.
Ken Minell,
Yes.
Ron Dunwoody,
Yes.
Tim Schirota.
Yes.
My second motion will be to approve change order number 5 using the funds from available park and rec account in the amount of $26,504. For
I second.
change order number 5.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Well, I think both of these, as I look at it, have to be done. And wherever the money come from, we have an $800,000 building out there with no sewer and water. So I don't think it's a matter of, do we want to do it or not? It's just where the money is best used coming from. So I'm in favor of both.
Further discussion? Roll call vote?
Carol Young,
Yes.
Scott McClure,
Yes.
Ken Minell,
Yes.
Ron Dunwoody,
Yes.
Tim Sharota.
Yes. Have a discussion and possible decision regarding Resolution 2218, resolution to approve the Wisconsin Department of Transportation roadway classification changes in the city of Elkhorn.
Yeah, I had put the resolution together, and it's worked with DOT and Joel Christensen, our police chief. We've also had conversations with our engineer regarding the roadway classifications that we received. We did talk to DOT about some of them, and some of them they did revise. All the changes are kind of noted on here, as well as the table that'll be incorporated into the resolution. I thought we can go through all of them if everybody would like to. One of the ones that I wanted to mention was Voss Road, Church Street. So Church Street from Voss Road down to Court. This actually went from a minor arterial to a collector, so it actually went down in classification. And same thing with a small section of County Trunk Highway N. It went from minor arterial down to a principal arterial. So it's important to have classifications for your roadway system. It's kind of like, veins versus arteries in your body, or maybe even like sanitary sewer, where you're looking at different pipe sizes. It kind of sets the standard for roads, and with regards to widths and how you build it with a pavement section. So that's why DOT is looking at it. Good news for Elkhorn is it also allows us there's more opportunities for grants with those that raised in classification. So the ones that went from a local to a collector, those collectors would again allow more of a grant opportunity. And none of the changes affect LRIP dollars that we've been getting recently for grants. This would require an ordinance change of Article 8.02 with regards to streets and sidewalks. If the council is going to pass a resolution, I would take a look at that. Again, it has to do with recognizing the classifications, and then also looking at the street requirements with regards to pavement widths and right-of-way widths and things like that.
Looking for a approval of the changes? Is that
Yeah,
what-
it would be to pass the resolution 22 dash, what is it, 18.
Motion?
I'll make a motion that, for approval of resolution 22-18.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. And lastly, we've got a discussion and possible decision regarding council meeting schedule in January. Is that something you got?
Yeah, I just wanted to see if the council had any preferences or as far as what to do about the schedule for January, just because the first council meeting would be on Tuesday, January 3rd. City Hall will be closed on the Monday, so it's a holiday, therefore can't meet on that day. The City Hall is going to be closed a lot from the last meeting in December to the first meeting in January, so I think we'll be open 6 business days in that period of time, but not a lot. So I just didn't know if you guys wanted to just either meet on the Wednesday after the holidays, or whether you wanted to meet the 2nd and 4th weeks in January rather than the 1st and 3rd, or just leave it the same, but just looking for feedback on the schedule.
Just to help city staff out, and to keep, every other week, I would reference, or prefer go to the 9th and the 23rd for our meetings in January, the 2nd and 4th.
I agree with that too. I think it's important to keep them on a Monday. Motion or anything, we're just,
A motion would be good.
Council meetings in January of 2023 to be on Monday the 9th and Monday the 23rd at normal time, 5:30.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.